Well, hello, my lovelies. It's been a while since we've talked. I think it's been 2 weeks. Things have been happening. I have been busy rotating through my cross stitching. This is the one I'm doing now called Autumn Wolf. I am working on the wolf's ear right there because I got tired of the sky. I got a lot of the sky done, as you can see. So now I'm just doing the ear stuff. We're going to chat a bit, so grab your cross stitching, your drink, your what have you, and we'll talk for a bit. I don't know how long it's going to be. It is late. It's a little after 7:30 on a Wednesday. And I came home in an attitude, so I have to lock myself in this room until I cool down. Yep. So anyway, again, in Northern California, there's no snow, there's no rain. The snow came and went, but it's on the mountains, and that's just slowly melting or fastly melting, whatever you want to say. There's no big storms in sight or fire weather. I don't even want to think about it. I usually visualize that we've had snow by now, usually in October or December. That doesn't seem to be the case. But, yeah, I just was like, okay, can we have some, rain or some snow now? And it's been several weeks before we had any precipitation. All right, come on, drink. All right, here we go. And, precipitation. My brain, you'll notice it'll stop because I can't remember the word or the connection is no longer there and I have to stop and wait for it to reconnect. But that, here a couple weeks ago, it was dry. It was frosty. So I guess it wouldn't be dry, but it'd be dry on the roadways. I couldn't guarantee you the status, but I know it wasn't rainy or snowy. We've been having last night was 13 degrees and in the morning it's 20 kind of things, during the day it's 40s and whatnot. But a couple weeks ago, on my way to work, I was getting in my car. And I don't listen to the police scanner on my phone. I usually like to connect my phone up to the stereo to listen to that instead of the same radio station and commercials and all this stuff, which there's commercials on the YouTube anyway, but just a variety of music. And I hear police sirens. No big deal. They're going to happen in our town. And it was right when I was getting into my car and I'm tootling around and you can hear just one siren after another siren after you can hear the fire department because they're like, so all these sirens everywhere. I mean, the whole freaking city filled up with all these sirens. Couldn't believe it. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm tootling around my way to my normal route. And part of my route is a new intersection, a few years old. And it's a shortcut between one highway, a side street and a highway, and they're supposed to be building other buildings there. It hasn't happened in years. Don't know what's going on, but it's a shortcut. It also helps for the big rigs to get off our main street and take other ways. But there was a police car that was stopping people from going into that street, but not me. I could go straight. They didn't want anything to go to the highway. Well, then when I got to the other part of my route, there was if there was an accident anywhere on the major highway, then they would route people along my way. But normally it's just not even busy where I'm going. Well, that morning it was freaking busy. Lines of cars just lining up, trying to get, intermingle with my traffic. And again, my road is not very busy or whatnot. And we get to work, we're all talking, did you hear? Did you hear? Do you know? Do you know? It ended up sounding like it was 3 cars involved, but when the news came out, then it was 5 cars involved. And when you read it, east, west, north, southbound, whatever, it's just so damn confusing. But what ended up happening is there's a big stop light at the intersection, not anywhere I was going, but on the other highway. And that's had a lot of accidents. We've had one when it was foggy a few months ago, major pileup there, which is very rare for us. But it was the same intersection where there was a semi, from what I understood. A semi was stopped first in line at the stoplight. And you know, semis, full or empty, they're going to take a long time just to get going, right? So then the cars following or behind it are going to be just as slow. Well, apparently there were 5 cars involved, and there was, I can't remember the order, don't know the order, whatever, but there was a car that had a mother and a 8-year-old daughter, and the mother was bringing her daughter to school, and don't know where the daughter went to school at. There is a school at that intersection, you know, just around the way. But a van of sorts from behind all these vehicles was doing the full speed limit of 55, slammed into whatever car, but the car carrying the mother and the daughter was smushed up against the semi. So it was like 2 or 3 different cars that got clipped or out of the way or whatever, but the one that had the mother and the daughter were slammed up against the semi. The mother passed away, and the daughter was critical condition and flown to our next state over. Don't know the condition of the daughter. They're doing a fundraiser and everything for medical and what have you. So we had that happen. I was like, wow, that is freaking rare. That's just like having a Hollywood star, you know, show up in town. You're like, is that the real thing, or is that just a lookalike? You know, just very rare that anything like that happens. So that happened, and then it's been frosty every morning, you know, nice and chilly. What else is going on? Valentine's is coming up, big whoop-de-doo. Everybody's decorating their desks and around. I'm not a love bug, so I'm not going to be decorating for that either. It's just like, I won't get into that. But did a couple of Temu orders, as you saw. There's something I was getting to something with that accident about the roadway. Don't know where I was going, but again, space case here. So I'll just do squirrel thoughts and talk as I see fit. Let me think of a next topic besides the one I really wanted to do this video about. Oh, yes. So I'm in my craft room, and once upon a time you'll see a video where I organize my craft room. It's a mess. I give you a tour. I organize it, and then all of a sudden it's a mess again because I'm going through all my cross stitch. I donated a whole mess of cross stitch kits, the little ones with all their threads. I just can't deal with it. I want to get to more serious things, and these little bitty things are not what I want to do. And I just lost my place. Okay, I'm right there. So I donated a couple of those. I found another cross stitch kit, and it was really pretty, of a bird sitting on top of a house, and it had several cross stitch patterns in it, but it was over 2 threads, and I couldn't understand. I understand what 2 threads is, but I couldn't determine what their 2 threads were. It was too spaced out, too weird. It wasn't coming around right. I just did a couple of stitches, and I'm like, forget it. So I'm donating that one with several patterns and everything else, and I don't know why I'm tying off when I'm supposed to be here. I am so scatterbrained. Okay, so did the Temu haul, going through my cross stitch kits. I was looking up something on my YouTube, and this lady came across my channel, and her name is Dana K. White. And what she does is she says, I think it's called Decluttering at the Speed of Life. And she taught me a few things. She goes to people's houses, she helps declutter, and she makes sense of how you would declutter. So the first thing she says is, get a garbage bag, go in there, and pick up all the garbage you can see. Don't go hunting for it, but just look. And, if this is garbage, throw it away. That's garbage, throw it away. Do that first, but not, thoroughly. Then pick a part in your room that you want to start. So if you start on this desk, where does this go? It goes here, I'm working on it. Where does this go? It goes over there. Where does this go? It goes in the room. You take things and you put them where they're supposed to go. Ask yourself, is this really needed? No. Throw it away. All this kind of stuff. Make sacrifices and figure it out. If you have a bunch of stuff has to go in the kitchen, Don't just, okay, I'm going to put it over here because it goes in the kitchen. Now you picked up something that this goes to the kitchen, this goes to the kitchen, this goes to the kitchen. You take a bunch and you go into the kitchen, you put it where it goes. Don't just drop it in the kitchen somewhere. And so you continue with wherever things go and you make a home for them. And it made a lot of sense, so I started practicing that. Well, then I did a little experiment because I've been doing a lot of lives, and not everybody is showing up to lives. There's a lot of people that show up, but they don't talk, and if they talk, they're either getting booted out because they're idiots, or they just plain don't talk. And there's, 14:9, 14:2, whatever. It ends up being just 2. Actually, technically 1 because I'm on my own site, so just somebody else is sitting there and nobody ever talks. And it kind of gets irritating. Unless the normals come in and they talk because, hey, I can't stay long, but, I just drop by and say hi. I don't know everybody's schedule, and I figured the later I come on, the better off it is because of time zones and stuff. So I started doing that. See, I'm going to find out what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm all done with that. I only have a few there. Okay, I'm done with that. Cool. So I did a little experiment. I was like, okay, let me check this out. So I was doing the live, sitting here like a few minutes ago, actually, doing a live, and you know how some lives fluctuate. And I had like 13, 30, a whole mess of people, and doing the cross stitch, and nobody's talking. I'm talking about things and encouraging them to talk, and no one's talking. So then I was like, screw it. So I stopped that, deleted that video, and I went to go do other things, charged my phone, and I came back and I was like, okay, let me do something pretty interesting here. So I turned on the live again, and this time it was facing inside my craft room, and it had a cluttered mess of all my cross stitch kits, what was being worked on, what yet has to be worked on. So when the live came on, I was like, hey, let's, you're going to watch me doing all this. I know it's a clutter, but you're going to help me organize it. And, we're just going to go through it, whatnot. And the negativity that came out of the woodwork, everybody started talking. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a mess. Wow, I can't believe it. All this negativity. So I kind of tweaked it a little bit and said, well, I'm at a friend's house and I'm helping them clean. Oh, that's awful nice of you. That's great. Blah, blah. So you have plus and minuses, but everybody and their brother was talking. And I'm like, is that what it takes? I know it's boring here, but start a conversation if you're bored. Say, hey, how's it going? What are you working on? So it's pretty interesting how just that changed the aspect of people's conversation. So if you dare show a mess, screw them. I don't care what I show them. Obviously, I know what I'm showing, but, I'm explaining what I'm doing. And there's a lot of weirdos out there. If you ever look at YouTube Live, some of the videos out there, I'm like, really? You have some pervs out there that get canceled. 3860, where are you? Right there. So we are going to do teal. See, I just thought it was very interesting that that's what it took to get people to talk. I'm like, wow, okay then. That was the main point. I wanted to come on here and do a little chat and to say, that's pretty sick. If that's what it takes. So, I guess I won't do that anymore. I know they can be rude and crude and I can block them, but you got to expect people who don't understand, and when you tell them you're cleaning the stuff out, and of course it's going to be a clutter and mess. I'm not the only one who has cluttered mess, and I can block you all day long, block all the ones that be negative, but they just don't, they see, they don't hear. Pretty interesting experiment, don't you think? So my Temu haul, I don't have anything to share, do anything that, to go through. I got a lot of money back because of some of the stupid things they sent that were broken, didn't work. It just gets really irritating that, you have to do that. And I don't know where my threader is. I had tons of threaders, and I bought some from Temu, and I don't want to go out and go find me another one. And I had a threader here, a little green one. You know how that works? So here's magnets. Yuck. Here's a new lint roller that I got from Temu, which I don't understand quite because it has a fuzzy here. Then you rotate this dial and it has another fuzzy. So, I mean, it's the same fuzzy, but this thing doesn't stay up all the time. It does collect the fuzz, but, you know, what do you do? And I guess when one gets full, it scrapes itself to drop off the lint inside of there. Then you use that and you go back and you scrape the other one off. I guess that's what it is. I haven't had a full moment alone with it. But I know I just had a threader here, and it pisses me off that I have to go find a threader. That's why I have to buy a whole mess of the same things, because I can never find anything. How many of you are like that? But yeah, once again, this channel is not doing as I expected. I know people are like, well, stick with it, you know? People will come around. Yeah, well, I had one for 6 years and they never came around. So you tell me. They're probably just not interested in cross stitch because I'm not the ones that have the 8 of cloth and say how many stitches I have. And you know that higher class of cross stitchers, as it were. And I know other people do these kind of cross stitches and they talk and do all that. And they have their numbers. And you go on their channel and you talk, but they don't subscribe to you when you subscribe to them. I mean, yeah. 1,000 people can't be wrong. There's a reason why I live alone. There's something different about me. I just don't see it, but oh well. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Oops. And these scissors from Amazon suck. They're the ones that you can get real close. They worked fine to begin with, and now it's like I have to go sharpen them. Real stupid. So now again, I forgot where I was. What number was I doing? I was doing teal right here. Not much else to report. My new neighbor that moved in, he works for a construction company. And just yesterday I found out that it happens to be my coworker's dad. Because she was over to visit him to see where he moved into. And I was like, wait a minute, really? And she sits right in front of my desk, so that was pretty funny. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now you know where I live. So yeah, I told her I'm a big introvert. I don't go around and meeting people. I don't even know a lot of my neighbors here and there. We all stick to each other. I don't go out of my way and go, hey, I know who this person is. I'm going to come over and say hi to them. But, you know, nobody comes sees me. I don't go see them. I don't know majority of their names. If I know their name, I forgot their name. We just tend to stick to ourselves. I do know that when I've opened up my garage in the past, my past two neighbors have, you know, been nosy, and one of them wanted to store a bike in my garage. And I'm like, no, I am not no storage area. I don't care if we wrote up a contract. I don't care if you pay me $500 a month. You know, that's a liability. No. Do I ask me to store stuff in your house because I don't want my cats to get it dirty? Come on. Jeez Louise, what do I look like? A gal that lives by herself and has a 2-car garage. Yeah. And so, yeah, and then the other guy, one was a druggie, which he long left years ago. And he would, you know, be on the driveway right next to me and working on his car, and he'd invite his buddies over, and it's like, well, I can't even open up my garage now because I have, you know, like a lawnmower and tools and stuff, and I don't need them peeking in there and seeing what I got, and yeah, no. So I had to live inside my garage as far as that goes, and my garage doesn't have electricity. Long story short, the hot water heater, the small one, because this is an older house, broke down, so they bought a new water heater in order to have the electricity, support the bigger thing, and our electrical company switched from the old-fashioned electrical boards to a newer one, so they were all doing all this at once. So I got a new hot water heater, got a new big electricity panel thing for Elmud, and I got a new, you know, the main switches for your house. So I had all that installed, and they found out when they undid the power so they can work on everything, that the power from the house to the garage was hooked up illegally, and they weren't about to, redo the whole thing. Cost a lot of money. So now I don't have an electricity in my garage. So during the days I can open it up and work in there. Now that I feel a little bit safer and, that creeps aren't going to be looking in and wondering what I have. I don't know my neighbor. Just because it's a coworker's father doesn't mean I don't know, I don't know him. So I haven't met him yet because he's been working all these early morning, late hours. So I've only seen him one time, and it was dark, and we both happened to pull into our driveway at the same time, and we waved, and that was it. But I couldn't pinpoint him in a lineup, so that's what happens when you're working all the time. Barely get to meet your neighbors, but it's good. I don't need to get friendly with neighbors anyway. I can't. When I switch the desks, that's the bad thing about this light, is it doesn't reach far enough over for some of my projects. So that's why I was wondering if I have to redo this. I might have to move it in front of me. I just didn't want to be a pain. But yeah, I'm going to be, at some point, I want to be able to redo my craft room according to Dana White. Go check her out. See what you think of some of the videos. I guess she was in the, like a well-known book author for the New York Times or something. Recognized person. Wrote a book. I just now stumbled upon her. But I'm watching this other gal, and she is doing a decluttering according to Dana's method. And it makes sense, My biggest problem is when I grab something and I go to put it where it goes, then I find something else to do, and then I get distracted, and, A becomes Z, and then you have to go find out why you didn't do A before, and nothing gets done. You get distracted. You realize, oh, I was supposed to do that. Oh, that's where that is. How many of you do that? And it's just like so annoying. So I'm asking my doctors if I can have something that calms my brain down to where I can focus better. This is going to help me at work as well. And hopefully it will work. Because that's what I want to do, instead of being all scatterbrained and forget, or I just don't care anymore. I don't want to be a slob, and it seems like that's the way I'm heading right now, and I want to be more organized. And especially when I have my my little bead mat things from Temu haul came in. So I'm going to be doing some more peyote beading and start getting on those now. If you didn't see the Temu haul, that's these. And my dentist bead things that I'm doing, the pen wraps, happen to be five beads. But all of these are labeled already, and I wish they wouldn't do it. I wish they would leave it blank so we can do it, but I can easily put a piece of tape and put what I want if I have multiples, and then my little needles get to stay there, so that's convenient. And I have more mats coming in. I have another Temu haul coming in, but this is one of the mats, and it looks ugly and dirty, but that's all tie-dyed, because what I was trying to accomplish is tie-dyeing it. See if you can see it in here. It looks all bruised, but you can tie-dye it with different colors, so if I were to do A, B, C, D, then I can organize it according to where these spots are and put my lighter beads on here, because it's hard to see light beads on this mat. But Temu is going to send me 6 mats, and they're random colors, so hopefully I get a darker color in that. There's no way of saying, want to make sure I get a darker color, or something, but that's my idea. You can also take these mats and you can write A, B, C, D, and then you can put your beads here, but I'm afraid that I'm going to spill them all over, and there's no easy way to, keep them organized, whereas this is going to be in its own corral, and if I spill it, I spill it. But these are nice and firm. I have no idea what type of fabric. It feels like a felt that they put glue on, like 2 firm felts or something. If anybody knows what these are made out of, the fabrics, if they sell them this firmly, let me know so I can make my own. That'd be great. Or if you know what type of fabric this is. It's just foam, really thin, but the needle, when you put the bead on it and you get the needle going, it doesn't stick to the mat. It doesn't have fur, fiber, or loops or anything. It just glides and the bead rolls into the needle. So if you guys can help me out on that, it would be great. I can try to make my own. I tried Walmart years ago and I didn't see it and nobody knew what I was talking about and the sample wasn't helpful, and I'm like, you just got to get the right people to understand. But I have my, I don't think you're gonna see it in the camera, I didn't check, but I have my cat sun catcher up on the wall. And oh boy, I'm done with this, but I'm like way away from any other colors, so I'm gonna restart here. Catcher is there. I found a little hitchhiker of a spider. I'm pretty sure it wasn't from Temu because I saw him way before the Temu orders came here, and I used bug spray when I left last time I saw it. It's a tiny little black spider and freaked the heck out of me. You thought it was a tarantula. Even though I own tarantulas, I don't like them loose, okay? So, yeah. So I thought I did spray it, but I thought it would be dead. It wasn't. It showed up on those little bead mats I just showed you when I was on the table, and I about freaked out again, so I sprayed it again. And I'm like, well, this isn't for spiders necessarily, because they have different systems, and it may not work on them. But nonetheless, I don't like it. So I may have to get myself some spider spray and spray in here, because there are no spiders, my personal spiders, so that's good. Cats are doing good as they can be for the shape they're in. I get my cuddles every night because I like to keep my room much colder because I'm going through this stupid thing called menopause. And I was talking to a doctor the other day, and we are all confused about me. One doctor says, hey, find out, if you have hormone therapy and you can do this, and go to your GY, or was it called GYBN, or what's that called? Anyway, the baby doctors, so they can find out, what's going on if you're having hot flashes, and so they can get you the right medicine. And I was like, oh, this is just so stupid, because the over-the-counter doesn't work. And then I go over to our Walgreens. A lot of Walgreens are shutting down, and let me know if you guys have your Walgreens shutting down. All we have is Walgreens and Walmart now. And our Walgreens is not on the list to shut down, but they have been shortage of staff like you would think it was COVID. And their drive-thru has been closed the last 2 days. But when it's opened, I went there on Sunday and I drove up, and there was one lady on the computer with a customer, okay. Then you have the pharmacist, they can't wait on you. Then they have another lady that's just sitting there doing her thing, back and forth and doing whatever. So I'm sitting there waiting. And all of a sudden I hit the call button because no one's is looking at me or acknowledging me. All their backs are there. They're busy. So I figured if I hit the call button, at least somebody would come over to the window and say, okay, just a minute. I see you. We're busy, okay? No, nothing. So rude. In my opinion, I think that's rude. Can we tell that they're busy in there? Can we tell that, maybe they don't know somebody's up on the drive-thru? It's not like they have a belt on the ground that dings like a gas station. I mean, would you think that was rude with nobody acknowledging you? I wanted to go inside, but then I realized, what's the difference between outside and inside? If they've been busy, like today I went there and there's 4 people in front of me. I went through line about 15-20 minutes, and then by the time I got out of my line, I was literally less than 5 minutes because I only had 1 out of 3 that I had to pick up for right now. I put it on that express pay that's already on the thing. I have a electronic receipt, and I'm out the door. And by the time I left, there was like 8 more people in line. I was like, really? But yeah, they should keep that drive-through closed because there's no point. They had one drive-through. They have a double drive-through, and the one closest to the building, they've always had open. And then all of a sudden they opened the other one because it was broken or whatever, and they had more staff, so they started opening the second one. But I barely see anybody going there, and even myself, I won't go there figuring it's going to take just as long whether you're in one line or the other. It does take a long time. So, I just make sure that when I go into line, if it's around the corner and I can see it from the main street before getting in their parking lot, I won't even bother. But if I get in there and there's 2 or 3 cars, I'll make sure that I leave enough space to where if I give up waiting, I can pull out and leave. Because it's just like their store is being ridiculous. And I don't know why it's short of staff. I didn't even bother asking. So I was waiting at the pharmacy, and there's this guy on the phone sitting down. You can't see him because there's a cooler and stuff. And he's sitting down and he's waiting. And he's talking to somebody on the phone, and I'm enjoying his conversation about stuff. And then I get up to the next. I'm going to be the next one being waited on. And the guy hangs up the phone, and he's like, oh my gosh, what is this going on? Is there, whatever? And he goes, this is ridiculous. I'm out of here. And he storms out. Because the line was huge now. He was sitting down. I understand that you probably can't stand that long. But, maybe there's a system you can do. Yeah, this person sitting down is behind me. Or something. But nope. He got pissed off and he left. I'm tired of these people. And he left. I was like, well, of course. I'm getting tired of them too. It's just lack of pharmacists. And they're advertising that they need pharmacists. But I don't know why if it's a personal problem inside, if there's a human resource problem, if there's, they don't get along with each other. They've been doing this a lot. They've had good people go in there, and then all of a sudden things are moving fast, things are open, the drive-thru's open, and all of a sudden it's like dead. It's like, what happened? What the heck just happened? And I don't want to switch to Walmart because Walmart is a PIA with all the freaky deakies in there, and I'd have to walk, and where their pharmacy is on ours is where a lot of the vitamins and the eyeglasses and stuff like that. But it's a very narrow area between the aisles where you're waiting, and you can't go out in the aisle where the normal main aisle is. You have to kind of suck yourself in there and wrap yourself around the corner. And I haven't been in Walmart in a long time. I just lost interest in Walmart. There's something about it. I just don't have the need to go there. It's weird. I didn't think I'd ever say that. But this coming summer, when the plants start coming in, I'm going to have to start going in there. I've got my Every Bloomin' Thing, which is on the way to and from work, which is a nursery I can go to look at any plants they have, which I have enough plants. I don't know why you're asking that. I have to go through my plants and do that. If you guys want to see all the plants I have and talk about them, where I got them, what they are, and all that kind of stuff, you can give me an idea, and I can do that. Because that would encourage me to go through my plants and take care of them and take out the dead leaves and talk to you about the Hoyas that have these stupid white bugs that create like little cotton pockets. And they just suck the lives out of your Hoyas mostly, but they're on other plants as well. How to take care of that's worked for me. Little hints and tips like that. How to trim, how to propagate. I've tried to give away a lot of propagation, but again, people like to jerk you around, say, I'll be right there, and they wait 2 hours, and they think, what are you sitting outside in a sunny location with a cup of tea waiting for them? I think it's very rude. If you tell people I'll be right there, then effing be right there. Especially when you live on the same block I do. Just so rude. I can't believe how people are doing this, so I just play the same game. Says, nope, I'm not home, even though I am. You're gonna deal with this. How dare you? I can play that game. It's a plant, no big deal. I can cut it and throw it away. I can be absolutely fine with that. It's very irritating and rude, so I just have to play I have to be somewhere in a few minutes, I'll meet you over here game. And if you don't meet me, then, oh well, you're lost. If you want it that bad, learn to be there. Be responsible. And then you have to weave through all the jerkamos who say, I'll pay you $300 right now for that couch, and I'll pick it up in a few minutes. Yeah, and you go to look at their site, and they don't have anything. So sad. Remember last year, this lady was advertising something, And then she came back underneath her own post and she's like, why do people have to be jerks, and why do, how come there's so much scammers? If you say you're going to be here, please be here, blah, blah, blah. So I took the opportunity to message her and say, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. This is what's going to happen. She was, well, I don't feel very comfortable donating this. And I was like, well, unfortunately, that's what people leave you to do. It's easier to do it via friend where you work, somebody you know that works, etc., than to go on Facebook and advertise. You have to figure out who's scamming and who's not. And she doesn't learn her lesson. She kept doing it. So I'm like, well, there you go, lady. I'm sorry that your heart is on your sleeve, but that's what people are doing. They're effing scamming you. And then those who are, I do a first come, first serve, no holds. So if you say I'll be there in a few minutes and then my neighbor knocks on the door, my neighbor gets it, not you. Oh well, it's already picked up. Now if you think I'm scamming you and saying, that you took too long or whatever, then oh well, it's gone. But like I said, first come, first serve. No mercy, right? Right. All right, so I'm going to go lay in bed, play some games. I was looking for my phone, but you guys have my phone. And I'm going to go check out this gal's cleaning. I'm going to go order more stuff on Temu since I have more credit because of their idiocy of packing. I don't know how the company can even survive with this, how they pack, but what to expect, right? And then I will go to work like a normal human tomorrow, and we'll do this again sometime. I don't know what. So give me an idea if you want to hear about my plants, organizing my craft room. I'll be doing resin several months from now when it gets warmed up, so that's a future situation because I ordered more molds from Temu. So yeah, plenty to talk about, and I want to see you guys at my live. I'm missing everybody at 7 o'clock, but you never know when I'm going to be there, so if you don't already have a notification, then get that notification so you know where I'm on. And just pop in and say I can't stay, just saying hi, so I'd appreciate it. Thanks for helping me with my channel, and I hope to hear from you soon. Until next time, stay well.